Hi guys, welcome to Clockwork. Dan Noodles back with you for another episode of the case study of Vanitas. We are slowly getting to the end of Vanitas Season 1. There are now 2 episodes left to go. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Very shortly, you will have my video for the wrap-up of this season. What are my top 3 anime of summer 2021? What is number 1? And what is my hidden gem? I can now happily say I have my script written. I have all the information done. I just need to, at some point, sit down, record, and do the main edit. It does take a while to edit this. I'm not looking forward to it, but it's coming your way very, very soon. I aim to have it at least on the channel within about a week. The best way is to either subscribe or join a Discord channel so you get the notification to your phone when that goes live. So let's jump back into Vanitas because this is a very interesting episode and I'm heartbroken. I am so heartbroken, but I'll talk about it at the end. I'm not okay? Let's talk about Moreau quickly because Moreau is back and the ending was very, very interesting last week of Vanitas seemingly welcoming him with open arms, but obviously Moreau is evil. And even though he appears absolutely stupid, he is evil and he needs to be approached very, very carefully. And I like the fact that Vanitas knows this. He is not about to saunter in and go all guns blazing. He needs the information that he desires and is able to craft up a bit of a lie that we kind of go with for a little bit. Moreau's artwork is probably my least favourite so far in the series, but I have, up until this point, loved every single character. He's my least favourite. I think they've probably made him goofy for a reason, but at the same time, I think he could have been a lot more scarier. But I think this is the point. He's supposed to be quite terrifying because he wears that mask. Because he has that very goofy, stupid mask on, he's hiding something a lot darker, and obviously sometimes it can be the most happy people who are sometimes the most scary, I guess, when they go dark. I think he's supposed to be that kind of villain who wears the very happy face and deep down they're very, very terrifying. The whole plan is that he's so stupid that he may reveal it all on his own, in the sense that I think it's more that he wants to talk. He's the kind of person who just wants to excitedly talk to anybody about his plans. He's like, look what I'm doing, I'm so proud about my work, I want to talk to you. So I think Vanitas knows that. This is a game of flattery. We do learn that Moreau wants to become a vampire. I don't know if it's the same as just being bitten by a vampire in this world, because Vanitas didn't change, but maybe it's because he's part blue moon. But I do wonder if it's possible in this world for a normal human to become a vampire. Like a lot of folklore, a vampire bites you, they are able to turn you into an undead. But I don't know if it's the same in this. But it's more the states that Moreau has become obsessed with the thing that he was first hired to even research. The music during the Moreau section is absolutely fantastic. He feels very off-kilter as a character, a little bit crazy, a little bit weird. So the music at this point is crazy enough to convey this. We've suddenly got accordions. It feels very French, but it also feels very OTT French because that's the kind of character he is conveying. But at the same time, throughout the entire section when he's talking, you get the feeling that he's got quite a temper to him and he is slightly crazy. He's hiding that colder side, the side where he is absolutely fine with doing his very cruel experiments. So under his goofy cover is a very heartless man who is actually able to slice, dice, cut his way through and experiment on a very young Vanitas. Even though Vanitas apparently subjugated himself and volunteered, it's still a child. You have to think about more from an adult standpoint, the kid doesn't really quite understand perhaps what he's getting himself into. But this man is Vanitas's trauma. This is announced to everybody within the room because it comes out and says, oh, you didn't mind me cutting and slicing and dicing, and everybody hears this and you can see the disgust on some of their faces as well. But through some very carefully constructed questions, we're able to get a lot of information from him. He has gained a new backer. I'm so sad. I'm so sad right now. His new backer has a high standing and he's very, very rich, and I should have started getting inklings at this point, but I think I wanted to not acknowledge it. But initially he refuses to say who it is. Even he isn't that stupid enough to give them the information. We do learn a little bit off kilter as well that the blue moon has apparently changed the eye colour of Vanitas. I also wonder if that's more the case that when Vanitas was being experimented on and when he was just experiment 69, he was in a very bad place. And now that he's in a better place, I do wonder as well if he in general has lightened up as a character. Noe finally blowing the cover because he just can't stand it anymore. He's just had enough. I was getting to the point when I was like, this is getting very, very painful to listen to. I don't blame Noe for blowing his top. He just can't stand a man who really treats people just like numbers. Where we get our first big, massive link of the episode, we have Monsieur Spider, who is the same man who accompanied the charlatan. We initially have our big link. The charlatan's link to the upper class. I think initially we knew that there were hints that the charlatan was working alongside someone who knew about him. So the backer is possibly the same person, which makes me cry even more because we know who the backer is at the end. The charlatan is definitely in cahoots with the upper class vampires. Perhaps the queen, obviously we had the queen's name thrown under the bus. More likely so, but we'll get there. We then learn about something even further. So another big surprise this week is who is number 71? Vanitas was attached to somebody apparently, but we also learned that they were taken away by the blue moon. Down the rabbit hole we go once more. I love the fact that the colour literally drains on Vanitas upon hearing the name 71. It's like a reality smack. It's maybe the fact that he had that buried, that information was buried, and suddenly it's been brought up, and it's definitely a very painful memory for him. And he literally just freezes on the spot. It's enough to just freeze him and being unable to even move. Now, the character in question does call him brother. So whether he is a blood relation or whether he saw him as a brother, not quite sure just yet. But perhaps Vanitas did have a sibling, perhaps, and they were both taken in by the laboratory. The brother does ask Vanitas, why do you hate our father, the man who rescued them from the lab? Again, maybe not the blood father, but still someone who they both see as a father who took them both in, perhaps. So we've got a lot of secrets starting to come out, lots of hints at Vanitas' past, because I'm pretty sure both of Vanitas' parents were killed by a vampire. Maybe this is a different father who we're talking about, so very interested to see where that's going to go. Vanitas definitely giving us a lot of questions now, but I'm very worried because we've only got 2 episodes left, and if this doesn't get a season 2, gonna have to hit the manga for this one. But we are introduced to a new enemy. We have a massive shadow who seems very similar to the form that the charlatan initially takes. It's more like this black mass that isn't quite there and it disappears and it's able to reattach again. But it's one of the first times that we see Vanitas starting to panic and actually ending up being knocked out for a little bit. He's out of action. It does allow for a very beautiful transition sequence which allows us to, is it his past? Is it his memories? Is it something more that I think I figured out? Because this form, the boy, is able to actually talk to him about what's going on right here in front of him. So it is conscious to what the here and now. So it may not just be a simple past memory. Did his brother die because of Vanitas? Because he seems to not want people to die again for him. Does Vanitas blame himself? And is this new form, this kid in his head, perhaps more a guilt? Is it more metaphysical that his guilt has literally taken on this form, is now starting to haunt him? He is now haunted by his own guilt. Perhaps this boy was killed in his place, or Vanitas was spared and he blames himself for something. And this has become a manifestation of his guilt. This boy is now able to talk to him because it's able to react to what is going on in the present. It makes me think it can't quite just be a case of this is a memory. Now, Noe's questions to Vanitas and his form, it reminds me very, very heavily of an important line in Pandora Hearts, the "Where are you, Oz?" That kind of line. I like the fact as well that it's the bravery that Noe starts to display, and this line is actually what reminds Vanitas of who he really is, and it's able to get him back. It's able to make him remember his purpose, and it's able to get him back into play, put him back, and I love the fact that it's Noe who is able to do this with him. Vanitas book animation is still so beautiful, one of my favourite animations for this season. A fantastic moment where the two end up being united even further by their luck. Their sheer luck on this one of bringing it down together. But the moment sadly gets fast forwarded by the exploding lab around them, where we go to a bit more of a comic scene where we have Roland hugging both of them. It is a very cute scene and the different reactions are perfect. Noe actually blushing is happy by this embrace. I do just think it is the case that he was quite lonely, so he likes interactions with people. We knew that he was very, very happy with having friends, and he grew up initially alone, but then he has this longing to be closer to people around him. I also feel that Roland and Noe feel very similar to one another, just even through their pure amazement and wonderment of the world that is around them. And then, of course, we get the other reaction, the reaction of Vanitas, which is absolutely hilarious. It's trauma for him. It's pure trauma, pure hell. I also don't think Vanitas likes being touched. He strikes me as a character who is not really keen on being hugged or touched in general, so I do wonder if he'd also be awkward with other people doing this to him. Maybe he'd be okay with Noe doing it, maybe. But it does feel like a character who doesn't really enjoy interactions with people like this. But Roland's character does start to warm up to me. Will he actually do what he says he's going to do? Who knows? But it is a really nice character who is starting to warm, and he definitely feels 3D. He feels very complex, and I love the fact they're fleshing him out. We meet a new character called Olivier. This is somebody who I think is on the same train that Vanitas rides, who gets a headache from being around Roland. Doesn't share the same amazement that Noe does. Roland does seem to infer that he is aware that he would no longer be welcomed by the church, because he's starting to realise that the things that he initially was taught to believe may not be the case. Him seeing a vampire and a human actually happily laughing together, has made him start to realise that maybe he wasn't following something that is true. Maybe he needs more information. He strikes me as a character who would happily apologise when he learns that his beliefs are out of date or he didn't have enough information to make a judgment. He's the kind of person who would apologise once they find out there's more information out there and he can make a different judgment, a better judgment. But Olivier definitely bringing in the more serious role. The two of them together almost mirroring what we've got going on with Vanitas and Noe. The end sequences, the first one with them finally coming out, I love the fact they also keep in line with the fact that the catacombs of Paris have entrances everywhere. They're hidden out of view, and they find an exit right underneath the bridge. But Noe's starting to get that deeper understanding of Vanitas, and I love the moment. This moment is so beautiful. Him realising that Vanitas maybe really does actually care, because he only really got involved in a case that was very painful to him because of the innocent lives that were also wrapped up as well. Moreau is simply trauma for Vanitas. It's very, very bad memories. It's awfully painful. And he saw this all the way through. He's able to react to the face that Vanitas is even able to pull. But he does question whether it's more than just a sense of him being a doctor and having that sense of duty. The cello at this moment joining in is absolutely pure perfection. Vanitas finally leaning on Noe. It's probably the closest they've ever been. I love the fact that they're getting close before the end of the season as well. Vanitas maybe being the one who, above everybody, really wants to have salvation. He wants to be saved from something. He wants somebody to save him, which is perhaps why he is trying so hard. It is a fantastic end to this little section. I really enjoyed it. Noe starting to also learn about Vanitas as well. He's also learning at the same pace we are, so I like the fact they do this. So let's go to the most painful section for me. Why? Why did it have to be him? My curse. Have you been on the channel long enough? I might have told you about a curse I carry. If not, I'm going to tell you right now. If I find an anime character beautiful, attractive, or I like an anime character, it is one of two things. One, they will die a horrible, painful death. Normally it's very horrible and painful. Owen, I'm looking at you. Oh, that was horrible. Or B, they will turn out to be the villain, the evil guy. Virgil, I'm sorry, you are still hot to me. I love you to bits. He's the villain and I love him. This is the same thing. The bad guy, the guy who is backing Moreau, is Ruffian. And of course it's Ruffian. It makes sense when you start to think about it. Ruffian is linked to the charlatan via his interactions with the spider guy. He was late to the ball. If you remember, he appeared late because apparently he had coach issues. Coach issues, of course you did. He also got very angry when the Queen's name was pulled in for blame. Sure, this could just be him trying to act loyal. Obviously, you got to have that loyalness to the Queen. But I think there's more to it. I think it's because it's close to the truth. I think it's because he got angry because of how close to the truth Vanitas really was. It's either one, he's in on it. He's totally in on it and it is the Queen and he's with it and he's in on it, so he's covering for her. Or two, it's simply him underneath the Queen and the Queen has nothing to do with it and he's able to pull it off and he's going to try and pass off the blame maybe on her if it blows up. What is the gain? What is he gaining is the big question. But then he's also the one who got absolutely angry when we saw Luca trying to talk about his brother. He's the one who goes, we don't mention it. And it's cut off cold. It's really, really cold and it's just the way that it goes. But he's apparently the uncle of Luca, right? So there's a lot of information starting to bubble up and this new discovery hurts to the core. But it's definitely making things a lot more interesting. I think we're going to end on maybe a cliffhanger. We've only got 2 episodes left. They can't wrap it up in 2 episodes. I really hope they give us a season 2. Please give us a season 2. I think this anime needs one. Fantastic episode, guys. I really enjoyed it. Have a good day. Make sure you're taking care of yourselves. And I'll see you again in another video. Bye, guys.